Wow. You don't care what the kids eat, huh?
Excuse me?
That has high fructose corn syrup in it.
And?
Yeah, you know what they say about it?
Like what?
I mean, it's...
That it's made from corn, doesn't have artificial ingredients, and like sugar, it's fine in moderation?
Love that top.
Oh, well, thank you.
Get the facts. You're in for a sweet surprise.
In today's Health Alert, quick bursts of exercise could cut your risk of a deadly disease. But first, mercury is found in some popular food items.
Our medical reporter Stephanie Saul is here now with those stories and more.
Lots of stuff to tell you about. This unidentified form of mercury was found in food products containing high fructose corn syrup. We are talking about items from jelly and yogurt to barbecue sauce and salad dressing. The grocery store aisles are filled with products containing high fructose corn syrup. It's in a lot more than your favorite soft drink. New research from the nonprofit Institute for Agriculture and Trade Policy says mercury was found in 17 of 55 items tested, about 31%. We have the complete list for you at CBS3.com. Click Health. Mercury exposure can damage the brain and other vital organs, but it's unclear what kind of mercury was found in these products, and the FDA has not substantiated the report.
How mercury causes brain neuron degeneration. Mercury has long been known to be a potent neurotoxic substance, whether it is inhaled or consumed in the diet as a food contaminant. Over the past 15 years, medical research laboratories have established that dental amalgam tooth fillings are a major contributor to mercury body burden. In 1997, a team of research scientists demonstrated that mercury vapor inhalation by animals produced a molecular lesion in brain protein metabolism, which was similar to a lesion seen in 80% of Alzheimer's diseased brains. Recently completed experiments by scientists at the University of Calgary's Faculty of Medicine now reveal, with direct visual evidence from brain neuron tissue cultures, how mercury ions actually alter the cell membrane structure of developing neurons. To better understand mercury's effect on the brain, let us first illustrate what brain neurons look like and how they grow. In this animation, we see 3 brain neurons growing in a tissue culture, each with a central cell body and numerous neurite processes. At the end of each neurite is a growth cone where structural proteins are assembled to form the cell membrane. 2 principal proteins involved in growth cone function are actin, which is responsible for the pulsating motion seen here, and tubulin, a major structural component of the neurite membrane. During normal cell growth, tubulin molecules link together end-to-end to form microtubules, which surround neurofibrils, another structural protein component of the neuronal axon. Shown here is the neurite of a live neuron isolated from snail brain tissue, displaying linear growth due to growth cone activity. It is important to note that growth cones in all animal species, ranging from snails to humans, have identical structural and behavioral characteristics and use proteins of virtually identical composition. In this experiment, neurons also isolated from snail brain tissue were grown in culture for several days, after which very low concentrations of mercury were added to the culture medium for 20 minutes. Over the next 30 minutes, the neurite membrane underwent rapid degeneration, leaving behind the denuded neurofibrils seen here. In contrast, other heavy metals added at this same concentration, such as aluminum, lead, cadmium, and manganese, did not produce this effect. To understand how mercury causes this degeneration, let us return to our illustration. As mentioned before, tubulin proteins link together during normal cell growth to form the microtubules which support the neurite structure. When mercury ions are introduced into the culture medium, they infiltrate the cell and bind themselves to newly synthesized tubulin molecules. More specifically, the mercury ions attach themselves to the binding site reserved for guanosine triphosphate, or GTP, on the beta subunit of the affected tubulin molecules. Since bound GTP normally provides the energy which allows tubulin molecules to attach to one another, mercury ions bound to these sites prevent tubulin proteins from linking together. Consequently, the neurite's microtubules begin to disassemble into free tubulin molecules, leaving the neurite stripped of its supporting structure. Ultimately, both the developing neurite and its growth cone collapse, and some denuded neurofibrils form aggregates or tangles, as depicted here. Shown here is a neurite growth cone stained specifically for tubulin and actin, before and after mercury exposure. Note that the mercury has caused disintegration of tubulin microtubule structure. These new findings reveal important visual evidence as to how mercury causes neurodegeneration. More importantly, this study provides the first direct evidence that low-level mercury exposure is indeed a precipitating factor that can initiate this neurodegenerative process within the brain.
The days when we could blindly trust our government and media are over. These corporations care about nothing other than the almighty dollar. Okay, corporations are legally bound to put all other concerns, whether it be our health, the environment, and be damned any other concern other than making money for their stockholders. If you don't believe me, do the research yourself. Like I said before, we are nothing more than chattel to these people. We are nothing more than a mineral in the ground or oil under some foreign sands. Nothing more than a static resource to be exploited. They don't care about us. Okay, it's time for us to rise up and resist this tyranny. It's time for us to become the media. Won't you join me in the fight? All you have to do is show up. Show up and do something. Become some sort of an activist. Raise your mouth. Now is the time to be active. You can't sit around and wait for a politician to save you. The only people that's going to save the American people are the American people.
Then something woke you, didn't it? Was it a dream? What was it?
I heard a strange noise.
What was it?
Lamb. They were screaming.
They were slaughtering the spring lambs.
They were screaming.